99.6 of you are not subscribers in my channel. I hope that the content helps you out and that you find it very useful. And I hope you hit the like and subscribe. All right, today we're going to bring the Coolmaster TD500 mesh. Now, you guys can see the mesh in the front has 3 fans built in here. It's already included with the actual tower. Buttons wise, you get 2 lights. You get the lights for the reset, which is the power button on. The power button's in the center. You get 2 3.0. You get audio jack and a microphone. So audio jack's 3.5, and of course you get a reset button at the end. Now let's take a look at the inside. Inside, on the actual build, you have enough room for actually the ATX, micro ATX, and then mini ATX. All right, plenty of room for any kind of type of motherboard you're going to install in here. Now, powering it up will be based on out of the bottom. It's hidden. There's a compartment with except for 1 gap in here, and you do have a cooling section in the bottom for the filter, which is the mesh filter. I'm going to show you. It's a magnetic mesh filter. You put it in there, and then it also includes one on the top, which has the magnets. Right now, on the top, plenty of room for any kind of type of fans that you're going to be installing. But we're going to install an actual radiator on the top and run it from there. Opening the glass, if you guys can see, it just takes 4 screws, all right? And you could hand tie them if you want, or use a Phillips. So it's an actual glass in here. The actual footing has rubber ends at the bottom. It has entries for all your motherboard and CPU connections, including for your GPU. There's only one entryway for the GPU to be installed. It cannot be the stand-up vertical. So that's only one way. All the components and screws are going to be embedded inside. And we're going to open the back. Now, for the back, I'm going to show you a little bit in the back. All right, we put it to the side. There's 2 screws on his side, and all you got to do is push it back, and it opens up. Now, the actual back end, this is enough room for your cables, passing them through the motherboard and passing them back through, right? Now, you do have space here for your larger hard drives. Also, your M.2s, or if you want to set up your solid-state SATA drives, you could set them up in here. Plenty of room. You got 2 slots in here for that. They give you an actual hub for all the fans that you can connect to it. You connect them straight to a motherboard and so forth. Now, all the cables and extra screws are in this bag embedded in here. So just be sure that you take this out prior to starting. And all the cables are well managed. Now, they do give you entries to actually zip tie them and set them up. So not a lot of room. So just be careful how much cable you're going to run in here and zip tie it to either the side ends. All right, so just make sure that all the cables and extra zip ties and extra screws are going to be located in here in this little bag, along with the silicone little carry-on bag. And just make sure you cut the correct cable. Don't cut the other cables. And here we have for the actual motherboard connections, for the 3.0, the audio, and extra power for the fans. And then you got the RGB lighting too, right? This is going to be a 12 volts, or it looks like more like a 12 to 5. All right, today we're going to bring a B650 Gaming X AX V2 version. This is a socket 5, all right? If you guys can see, DDR5 too, all right? So we're going to set this up today and see how it works. So first of all, we're going to go review a couple things that you should be aware. They have the RGB lighting connection is going to be here for the LED lights. I believe it's 12 volts on this one. They do have motherboard controls. All right, they have 4 slots for memory. They have 1 slot here for an NVMe, but then there's 2 more hidden compartments in here for an NVMe. All right, on the motherboard, we open up the casing, and which is right here. If you guys can see, it has 3 screws on it. When you take them off, you got two more spaces for NVMe's. All right, so you have one here and two. Now this one's up to 80 to 110. You could stretch it out. All right, 80 millimeters to 110. And of course, unfortunately, they don't have the shorter NVMe's on here. All right, but no, these are actually pretty good for the 980s, 990s, and so forth. So we're going to set this. We're going to close this up. We don't need it right now, but we're going to set up in the future if we want to set up our other ones. Now this one is going to have thermal paste, which is, it comes with thermal tape already built in. We're going to take a look at it. Everything's well secured and covered. There's not that much lighting effect in the actual internal of the actual motherboard. Now, if you're going to put a water cooling system, make sure it's compatible with it, or before you actually mount it to a tower, make sure that you don't have to attach other systems in here and prior to setting up, because in the past I've set these up where I had to remove the back screws and actually add the water cooling screws. So just be sure aware of that. Now it has reinforcement here for the GPU. I'm sorry, it has the reinforcement for the GPU here. This is already set up, and these are color coordinated. If you guys can see, these are actually for the actual motherboard here that goes to the desktop, and they have one fixed already that has a number labeled. And if you guys can see, you can actually see some coloring in there, which is real good. Fans, you got plenty of fans. You got one here hidden here, and then of course you have more RGB lighting, and of course the larger, this is the 12 volts right here. If you guys can see the 12 volts, and this is the D version. You have for your audio connection, and you have your comps, and then you have USBs, and of course you have a Type-C USB connection here, and then you have SATA connections here. You got 4 SATA connections and a USB 3.0 connection in here. You got plenty of fans up here, of course, and they're all labeled, and you can find out which one's actually going to go for CPU, GPU, and they're all labeled in here. So you got plenty of fans here. You don't have any fans in here in this directional in the back or anything. Just make sure that you have one here. You have CPU connection on the side. Now let's take a look at the side of the I/O. For the side, if you guys can see, you got your basic audio connections, all right? Your digital connections. You got your Ethernet RJ45 connection in here, 2 USBs 3.0, Type-C connection, and then you have another USB here, 3.0. This is a 3.1 or 3.1 right here connection USB. Type A. You got HDMI because you can actually run the system out of the CPU, out of the HDMI, your display, and 2 connection, which is Wi-Fi 6 connection on this one, right? For these 2 connections, 2 more USBs. You have the old analog connection for your mouse and keyboard. For those that need to be programmed, or maybe you still use those type of keyboards, this is a connection it is. I don't know why they keep bringing this, but it's going to be here for quite a while. Today we're going to bring a Ryzen AMD 7000 series. This is a 78X 3D series that we're going to set up for it. It has 8 cores. We're going to run it on our actual motherboard. It's socket 5 compatible. We're going to set it up today and see how it works. For out of the box, they do not give you a fan. It's just the CPU, but they give you instructions. For the CPU, it's very simple to install. If you guys can see, you got your little corner here, and there's actually a little arrow right there. That's what you're going to have to find on the motherboard to connect. Now, you don't have to worry about pins no more because they finally got the transition of removing the pins. That was a big headache back in the days where you had pins, you bent the pins, you kind of messed up the CPU. Now the pins are built in the actual motherboard, so just be careful when you're setting this up, not to bend those, all right? And there's only one way. Do not remove the cover. It tells you there. Do not remove until you set this up. This will pop up automatically when you insert the actual CPU. They give you a little sticker. If you're those fanatics that like to put in the sticker of the brand of what you have, go ahead and show off. But if your friends get a better one, don't put this on. All right, we just opened it up, and you guys know on the motherboard we have an arrow on the corner. That means that arrow is going to have to match that arrow there, all right? So when you drop it in, don't move it around, drop it straight up. If you mess up, pick it back straight up, because there's pins in this CPU entry, if you guys can see it, that you can mess them up and mess the whole motherboard up. So just be aware of that. I'm going to come out. I'll move over here.
So I think I'll just kind of go.
The arrow's there, huh?
Yeah.
Let it go. So if you guys could see, it's flush. It was a perfect entry. And like I said, if you don't mess this up, you take it out. Don't try to move it, wiggle it, all right? Because that's how you bend pins. Now, the best part is we're gonna cover this, all right? We're gonna cover this. This has to roll back and has to go under. This piece has to go under. This plastic is gonna have to pop out. That means it's a successful connection to the CPU and the motherboard. Yeah, close it. You want me to close it?
Let's go.
And then put this pin. You have to push it all the way down and put it underneath. Okay. It's gonna be a little hard.
It's okay if it's pushing down, like.
Yeah, it needs to.
Okay.
There you go. Keep going, keep going. Don't stop. Put it underneath. There you go. So if you guys notice, this thing just popped out as soon as we installed it, right? So save this. So whenever you have to send your motherboard back to the manufacturer for any repairs, make sure you keep this. This is very useful for that. It won't mess up on the shipping. It won't damage it more than it is. Today we're going to bring a Mystique 360 water cooling fan for your CPU. Now this one has a display. If you guys can see it, you can modify it. We're going to take a look at it, and it comes with 3 fans right now. We're going to take a look at it and install it on an AMD socket 5 Razer 7000 series. All right, this is pretty much what you get in here. You get for the Intel. This is for the, it tells you right here. It tells you right there and labeled Intel. Also in the actual manual here. Now here's for the socket 4 and socket 5, and it also is labeled in here. It's embedded in here. There's a little tiny little label, but they have 2 different inserts. Now you have to embed these into the actual bed of this part, right? Just make sure you put it in here and set these up. They give you the screws for everything lining up. You got to make sure you remove the existing plastics out of the motherboard, because these are not going to be compatible, but don't get rid of them. Keep them for the future. Now once you remove them, you put these in place and you cap them out with the end caps, which are these right now. So we're going to set these up right now, and we're going to put it in together. Now just to let you know, the fan is going to blow the air in up, all right? So what we're doing in our fan, we're bringing the air in, air out, and we're going to be blowing air out. You could change this, reverse this, all right, if you want, blow air in, but then you need to blow out. And unfortunately, we don't have another fan right here that we're not going to be able to do that, or we don't want to do that because we have more suction power coming in, more pushing out. So, and at the end of the day, this system right here has something unique. If you guys can see it right here, air pressure comes out of there automatically, so you don't have to worry about that. Just make sure you have enough clearance when it comes out, and automatically push it out in case there's any air bubbles into the system. So we're going to put it together and see how it works. All right. The reason we don't use electrical ones is because some of them are not static proof. And also I do have some static proof ones, but oh, he's hungry. Okay. I can hear him on the bag. Step number 1, and you see how we have these caps? We're gonna cap them up right now and spin them around. So,
like long end first?
Yeah, no, the opposite way. We're gonna flip them over. So let me show you one. Let me see. So these, if you guys can see, have the insert, right? The long one, the long way, stay up, because that's what they're gonna go straight down. This is very important. You line them up in here. Hand tie them. You don't have to screw them in with any tools, right? Tight, harder. You can.
Hard.
That's it. Oh yeah, that's it. Okay. All right. Now that we have 4 set up, we're able to put this motherboard. But before we do that, we're gonna put the M.2 and the memory installed on the system. All right. Today we're gonna bring the 980 Pro. We're gonna set it up. This is 1 terabyte. We're gonna set it up on the actual AMD B650 gaming system and see how it works. Now, gaming systems come with a couple of actual setups for NVMe. There's 1 here, 2, and 3. We're going to set up on the main one. You guys can notice it does have a thermal radiator along included. Sometimes they include the thermal tape. So we're going to set this up and see how it works. Is it still not sticking or what?
What's that?
Is it sticking, the screwdriver?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I just don't want it to fall though.
Oh, it won't fall. Don't worry. If it does, it's okay. All right. and push it that way. No,
What's that?
push it that way.
Kinda.
Yeah, there you go. Underneath there should be tape. Don't take it off, right? Flip it around. You can flip it. The screw won't fall. Okay. Now this is very important. All right. All right. So M.2 goes in here. Make sure the copper's not showing up. Push it. There you go. Now once you have it down, you can let it go now. And you could have that bent. Now we're gonna go ahead and tighten our screw here, but we're not gonna add a screw in here because it does have thermal tape and it's gonna keep it preventing from picking up as soon as we tie the last end. Now we are gonna remove the actual cover and we're ready to mount. Now this part has to line up with this part first, and then you push it down and put in the screwdriver. Make sure it goes in all the way first. And then the screw has to fit. You're gonna use that one. So we took out the thermal plastic out of the tape. It's embedded. It's not moving at all. So we're just testing it out. It looks good. We got the M.2 NVMe installed. Now we're gonna open this up on the motherboard so you guys can see the rest of them. So, all right, so I'm gonna show you guys a little content right here. We have an older M.2. This is a B and M. If you guys can see that, it's an older. It's not a NVMe, but it is compatible with it to read. I wouldn't recommend to write anything. It's just to maybe storage, just to use it for storage, not to play any games or any application or anything like that. Make sure you use your main one for that. So we're gonna put this in here. We're gonna set it up. We're gonna set up our memory on. Now that we have installed our NVMe, we're gonna set up our memory. If you don't know about the memory and you only have 2 sticks on it, this is the instructions. It tells you right here first, A2 and B2. Those are the 2 primary connections that you have to set up on your motherboard for your memory. So we're gonna set up a memory and set it up on the socket 1 and socket B and A. All right. So we're gonna set up on these 2 sockets and see how it comes. And it gives you the instructions right here. No need to get the menu out or anything else. All right. So I like that it's included in the actual motherboard. Today we're going to bring the Flare X5 DDR5. This is a 6000. We're going to install it. There's no RGB light. It's just basic colors. But down the line, you can always add RGB light or replace the actual memory. This is going to be 32 gigs for MDDR5 motherboards. Setting up with the memory. And we found out that the label goes out that way first. So the way it works, once you go down, you have to click them down, make sure that they snapped in. Go ahead and push them down until they actually, there you go. So that's, they clipped in there. Now the next one, make sure you open these up. These open up on both sides. Marry the motherboard to the actual case in here. And we do have 9 connections that have to be actually embedded into the screws. And the way you do it is just make sure you can see the screws ends in that way. Make sure the IO shield is completely compatible to the outside. If not, push it a little bit forward and it should be good. So go ahead.
No, but it's the corner one, right?
Yeah, the 2 corner, the 2 of them. There's 2 of them. All right, today we're gonna bring an 850 watts ASUS gaming power supply. On this one, the reason we got it for 2 reasons. All right, power supply is in the back, if you guys can see, power on and off. But one major reason we got it, not for the 850 watts, but the actual connection to the newest GPUs, which is the NVIDIA's. Now this one takes a lot of voltage, and it doesn't take 2 cables. It goes 1 cable in from here and goes out to 2 cables to the GPU. And the reason I got it, I don't have to worry about adding extra cables in here, just 1 cable. Minimize the cable, make it nice and clean. So you do have motherboard connections, CPU connections, and extra connections here for any SATA or any modules that you need to install. So this is a gold edition. We're gonna set it up. Prior to setting it up, make sure you remove the sticker. There's always like a sticker here in the front or a cover. If you don't, it might suck it in or burn it out, and you know it's gonna have issues. All right, so just make sure you're aware of that. We're gonna set it up. It has a nice little logo on the side, and see how it works. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're gonna set up the CPU first, and it's just a regular clip-on. Snap in. We pass the cable in the back. We're gonna do cable management later. Just tuck it in more. Keep bringing in more. so you don't see it that much. That's good. And then we'll tuck it in later. Now the next one, we're going to set up the motherboard connection. All right, today we're going to bring a Gigabyte GeForce RTX 4070 Super. Now this one has one connection instead of two. I'm going to show you. I put it the wrong way, but I'm going to show you. It has one connection for out, but if you have older power supplies, they do give you the for the dual ones. But the new power supplies actually have one connection for already set up, ready to go. Now it does require a 600 watts or higher. You're gonna need a lot of power. A lot of these things get burned out because they basically plug in too many of these power plugs and they bend over. So today we're just gonna plug in one connection here and one connection to the actual power supply. It does have RGB lighting. They do different colors. Right now we end up getting white. And we got plenty of connections, if you guys can see. We got 3 display ports and 1 HDMI at the end. And they're all covered right now, but we're going to put it together and see how it works. All right, so we have the fan sticking to the bottom because we had no ventilation on top. So we had to flip this down and we're connecting all the connections, the motherboard and everything else. My recommendation when you're installing the water cooling system, plug everything in first, because there's some plugs down there that you're not going to be able to reach if you set this up. Very important. We're doing it from the top. Air goes out, air goes in, air goes out. That's pretty much how we're going to cool down the things. If it doesn't work out, you can always flip these around, put the air coming in, but you are going to need air pulling out, and this is the only one we're going to pull out because we don't have a fan in the back. We could always add a fan here to pull the air out. Optional. We're gonna see how hot it gets first prior to setting it up and testing it out. Hold on, we actually put this in place right now. We put in flush and we want to make sure that this is showing the actual screen. You could put it anywhere you want because you could flip the screen anywhere you want. Good. There you go. Now here's one to one corner. I'll hold it. Go. Do the other corner across right here on this side. Okay. Always go across so you can make sure. Yeah, your sausage fingers might not fit here, so you need ladylike hands. People that don't work outdoors will be fine doing this stuff. Or have manicures, you'll be fine doing this stuff. But people like me that eat and work outdoors, okay, just to make sure it's nice and tight. That's good. If you hit the end, that's good. It's right here on this side. On this side, it gives you a little indentation.
Nice. Yeah, it gives you a little lip.
That's it. The reason we put it facing down is because the logo's here, but you can flip the screen anywhere you want. Now, the cable management is going to be a little hard. If you guys see this, all this connection, this one's just disconnected right now, but we're going to reconnect it back. You can't really tuck these in unless you go through the other way. There's no way of actually hiding these because there's too many cables on it. So unless you want to plug it in certain areas, but right now we're just going to plug it in certain places that we could try to tuck in and zip tie these ties so we could just minimize the cables. All right, we're doing cable management on it. Unfortunately, it's not that hard in here. Everything real simple. We ran this is the CPU motherboard with the regular connections. We're cutting it off, make sure that it's all zip tied. We're going to tie it down to one of these so it won't be moving around. So there you go. Just make sure you watch on that corner. Let it snap in, push it down. There you go. Now the same screws you took off in the front, we're going to add them up. And they're kind of a little difficult to set them up sometimes, but our first time turning it on, just cranked up right now. We're gonna let it do its cycle, and we're gonna set up a monitor, see how it works. So let it. See what I
Yeah.
All right, so just turn it on. This is what we got. We got the sequel. Now it's time to set up the windows. Setting up the new windows on the system is working very well. So let's set it up. We got the mouse and keyboard. We're gonna play in gloss, install. Here's the software that you're gonna require to download from DCool, right? This is important because this is gonna display stuff into your actual CPU. So what we have here is right now the speeds of the actual system. If you guys can see that, we're gonna change it because we want to be able to see the cooling of the CPU when we overclock it. But you could put pretty much all these things. You could timer, pump, how fast it's pumping, CPU fan speed, CPU. But we're gonna put temperatures here, right? Voltage, the next one, we could change it if you want. System monitoring, we could do system monitoring or core, but we're gonna do voltage for now, or I think monitoring, we're gonna keep it. So right now we're at 42. We're at 42 on the actual. So if you guys can see, now you can modify this. You don't have to have these things. There's a couple of things you can upload your own. Turn off screen, you could turn it off if it's too bright. You got all this information about your desktop, and of course monitoring of the CPU, GPU. Right now, load on the GPU, we don't have anything. We're not running any games. Cool. It has 38 Celsius. We could change it to Fahrenheit if you want. It's up to you. Clock speed, pretty much. This is a little understanding of what's running your system and the networks and the connections. But very good, simple. You can change everything under here. If you have multiple connections, you can do that. You could turn off certain RGB optical connections. You could turn them off, turn them on. And here it is. .6 of you are not subscribers in my channel. I hope that the content helps you out and that you find it very useful. And I hope you hit the like and subscribe.